I've got good news for you. Overall, the pronunciation of Spanish is easier to learn than the pronunciation of English. Letters are mostly consistent in their pronunciation, no matter the context, unlike English, where the letter A, for example, can have many different pronunciations depending on with what other letters it's combined. There are some letters in Spanish, however, that can have different pronunciations. We'll start with the easy letters, and then we'll learn some of the ones that can have different pronunciations. Let's get started. Let's start with the vowels. Again, I feel like this is easier than in English because the pronunciation of the vowel is basically the same as the name of the letter. If you studied our alphabet lesson video, you're already familiar with the names of these letters. They're A, E, I, O, U. Some consonants are pronounced the same or virtually the same in Spanish as in English. In this lesson, we'll focus on letters that are different in Spanish. First, we'll start with the easiest letter of all in Spanish, the letter H. I say it's the easiest because you don't even pronounce it. It's silent. Listen to the letter H, or actually the lack of a sound for H, in the example words. Hotel, hilo, hablar. The pronunciation of the letter J in Spanish is somewhat similar to the letter H in English, but it's a little scratchier sound. It's a sound. Listen to it in the example words. Justo, jirafa, jabón. The ñ is pronounced like a combination of N and Y, like in the word canyon in English. It's a ñ sound. Listen to it in the example words. Niño, español, sueño. The letter Q is only used together with the letter U in Spanish. The combination of QU is pronounced like a K in English. Note that the letter U is not actually pronounced. It just silently accompanies the letter Q. Listen to it in the example words. Queja, 15, ¿por qué? Rolling R's is probably one of the trickiest things about Spanish pronunciation. A single letter R is really more of a flap of the tongue. Listen to it in the example words. Ropa, pero, saltar. A letter V in Spanish has sort of a soft letter B sound, like your lips are only softly touching together. It's a B sound. Listen to it in the example words. Ventana, viejo, vaca. The letter Y in Spanish usually sounds pretty similar to the letter Y in English, except when it's at the end of a word. When it's at the end of a word, it sounds like E. Listen how in the first two words, the Y sounds like a letter Y in English, but in the last word, it sounds like E. Mayor, ayer, ay. The letter Z in Spanish is pronounced like the letter S in English. It's a S sound. In Spain, however, they pronounce it like a TH sound. Listen to the letter Z in the example words. Zoológico, zapato, zanahoria. I saved the letters that are a little more challenging for last. The letter C has two different pronunciations, depending on what vowel follows it. The letter C is pronounced like a K before the letters A, O, and U, but it's pronounced like an S before letters E and I, or like a TH in Spain. Listen to the two different pronunciations in the example words. Taza, copa, cubeta, cena, cinto. The letter G, like the letter C, has different pronunciations depending on if it's followed by A, O, or U, or E or I. First, we'll go through the standard rule for the pronunciation of the letter G, and then we'll learn some exceptions. The letter G is pronounced with a hard G sound before letters A, O, and U, but like an H sound in English before letters E and I. Listen to the two different pronunciations in the example words. Gato, gorra, guante, geranio, gimnasio. There are a couple of exceptions to the letter G rules that I just described. When the G is followed by a U and then an E or I, the GU combination is pronounced like a hard G. Basically, the U is forcing a hard G sound in a word that would otherwise have the H sound. An exception to that rule is when the letter U has two dots above it. The U with two dots above it indicates that you do, in fact, need to pronounce the letter U in these words. It ends up sounding like goo. Listen to the pronunciations of the GUE and GUI in the example words on the left side. You'll notice that you don't hear the U pronounced. Guerra, guia. Now listen to the pronunciations of the GUE and GUI in the example words on the right side that have two dots above the U. You'll notice that the letter U is pronounced in these words. Cigüeña, pinguino. There are a few double-letter combinations that can be tricky in Spanish. The CC combination is pronounced like a KS or a KS sound, or like a KTH in Spain. Listen to it in the example words. Colección, accidente, acceso. The LL combination is pronounced like a letter Y or a very soft J sound. Listen to it in the example words. Llamar, ellos, calle. The RR combination indicates a longer rolled R sound, like R. Listen to it in the example words. Perro, carrera, tierra. So those are the basics of Spanish pronunciation. I also highly recommend that you watch our stress and accents video, which covers how to know which syllable is stressed in Spanish words. On our website, you can read over the pronunciation rules again to review and click on audio links to hear the sounds. There's a link to that lesson in the description of this video. Also, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel to find out when we make new videos.